Tobias?
He's virtual.
Oh,
It may take a
virtual.
second.
Heiser?
Here.
Rizzo?
Present.
Zuniga?
Present.
Bradshaw? Parsley? Parsley? No. And Cohen?
Here.
Okay. Next is number 2, approval of the minutes. If y'all have had an opportunity to review, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Next is the citizen comment period. Are there any citizens here that would like to speak? Did I hear something?
Just Tobias.
Okay. All righty. If not, oh, what was that? Oh. Okay, if not, we'll move on to item number 4, consider and possible action. Number 2, award a contract to American StructurePoint, Inc., Austin, Texas, in the amount of $614,397.20 for the development of a 30% schematic design for the Kohlers Crossing intersection improvements. Mr. Barba.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Barba, City Engineer. Before we start, I'd like to make a couple of comments. One is that Cynthia was working for us in the engineering department, and we had her for about a year when she was taken from us, so it's going to be a big loss for the engineering department.
So, thanks for the work that you did, Cynthia. And, pardon? Stolen. I didn't want to say that, but I did. Anyway, and the other comment is that Steve Wadaki is a project manager for American StructurePoint. He is here to answer any technical details if you have any questions. So I just want to let you know he is here tonight. We'll go ahead and get started. Just a summary, May 18th of 2023, the board approved issuing the RFQ for this project. On July 21st of 2003, we received 7 submittals. And on September 7th of 2023, the board suggested recommending award to American StructurePoint to be awarded that contract. There's two documents in your backup. There's the master agreement, the actual contract, and then there's task order number 1. Task order number 1 is going to be the preliminary engineering report. Bear in mind, this is roughly a 30% document. That doesn't mean it's the complete set of plans. There's no contract administration involved in this particular task 1. So as this project moves forward, when this task is completed, we'll review the submittal that they give us, the project that we're looking at. They will make recommendations, give us cost estimates, and there's a lot of work involved with just getting to that level of review. They're going to be doing some environmental work. They're going to be possibly doing some public involvement, collect a lot of data as far as traffic is concerned, a lot of surveying and mapping too, and more importantly, the SUE, as we call SUE services, subsurface utility engineer. That's going to help us identify utilities that are underground so that we don't start putting poles and covering up and drilling into lines that we don't need to be drilling into or designing over. We need to try to make sure we miss those lines as we design our projects. We have a couple of options for you. One option, of course, is to approve the master agreement and task order number 1. The other option, of course, is to not approve the agreement or the task order. Our recommendation, of course, is to approve both the master agreement and task order number 1 to develop the 30%, or what we call the preliminary engineering report. And the amount is $614,397.20. Any questions?
Okay. Thank you. If there are no questions from anyone, do I hear a motion?
I'd like to make.
I had a question.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, because it's interesting, because there would be 3 roundabouts in sequence on that road. Are there any concerns, I guess, in speeding and slowing down and in speeding and slowing down again? Would there be any safety issues in 3 roundabouts? Not very spaced out. Just how does this work? 3. it seems like you'd get out of one, get a little further along, get back into another one, then to get into another one. So I'm just having a little trouble picturing it all. So any thoughts on that, Leon? I mean, how would that work with traffic flow?
Councilmember, just on the studies that I've done of these roundabouts, one of the things that you have to do when you enter a roundabout, you have to slow down. And then as you leave, you obviously need to slow down, and then you can pick up speed. If you go through Kohlers Crossing today, there are no traffic signals. It's pretty much people are literally flying through that area. As I go and stop at that one intersection at Sanders, I believe it's Sanders, especially late in the afternoon when there's not a lot of cross traffic, we all have to stop, and then we get to take off again. There's environmental issues with stopping and starting. Some people don't stop; they just roll through the intersection. So, and it's been proven that the roundabouts are a much safer operation whenever they're placed correctly and built right. So, in my opinion, it's going to be a lot better for the our community to drive through those 3 roundabouts rather than 2 or 3 traffic signals. If you could time the traffic signals to where you can drive 28 miles an hour and hit all traffic signals, that's one thing. But then you're still going to have to stop on occasion for that traffic signal, and then everybody starts backing up. So this is going to keep traffic flowing through there. I now keep talking, or you hear about level of service on these different intersections, and at the next council meeting, I will be bringing to council an explanation of what level of service is so that you can see what that means. But you want a level of service A, and these roundabouts give you that level of service A, maybe even a B. But what you don't want is a level F, which is really not good. That's just traffic backed up, nobody can move, you're stuck in traffic. So in my opinion, the 3 roundabouts are going to help move that traffic through there safely. It's better than if we just try to put traffic signals or stop signs, or even worse, putting stop signs up there.
And for a fire truck, to get from one point to the other, I know like if it's a straight road, vehicles will just pause and move over. Here, will it slow down a fire truck to get from A to C if there a fire was ever happening in the neighborhood?
They will have to slow down a little bit, but
Because they have
if
to
you got
make
an
the-
intersection with people stopped at the intersection for a traffic signal, though, they have to figure out a way to get around them. That's the dilemma with that.
I would
That makes sense?
think it's much safer for fire trucks to be able to clearly know that when they approach a roundabout, there's no potential of cars crossing through the intersection because they may not hear or see. So I would just have to imagine. I've heard PD talk about how dangerous it is for them to enter an intersection with
Right.
speed behind
The
them
dangerous,
when they can't see in either direction, left or right, or whatever.
Those were my questions. I just wanted to make sure I asked them in this case of 3 roundabouts happening on the same street.
I just have one quick question. Brian, for option 1 in the backup, it says authorized mayor. Is the mayor, who executes this? Because it is part of the TIRZ. Should it say mayor?
I believe that's the way it's been written on the agreements. The agreement's been.
No, that's incorrect. That was a
Should be the
typo. We
city-
should have had the chairperson.
Chair of the,
Yeah.
so for the
Okay.
city council, it'd be mayor, yes,
Okay,
that's correct.
so then I'd like to make a motion to approve option number 1 to authorize the chair of the TIRZ Board to execute the master agreement and task order 1, awarding a contract to American StructurePoint.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? Okay, there's a motion and a second. Are there any other questions or discussion?
Yeah, real quick, just Leon, just to make sure that if we do approve this, just to make sure that we're looking at lighting, sidewalks, everything that goes into this area. The lighting's really, really important there. I've been on this road quite a bit lately, and the lighting is really something that we need to address in that area. And I'm thinking about people crossing, so crosswalks, everything else, even considering lighted crosswalks to indicate somebody crossing the street. So just making sure that we're looking at all avenues and all aspects to keep everybody safe with this high-impact traffic area.
Councilmember Rizzo, that's one of the first questions I asked our project manager. I said, what about streetlights? What about sidewalks? And they said, this should be part of that requirement. If you look at the task, it does include everything from 2770 to Kyle Parkway, or 1627.
1626.
26. That was close. You're welcome.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
There's a pedestrian
tunnel at Benner, which I know you're very aware of, does the scope of services include exploring that pedestrian tunnel that's already there, what it would take to uncover it? Because this roundabout, as it goes through, is right in the middle of all that.
I don't recall seeing anything talking about that in the proposal or the task order, but let me ask Mr. Wadaki if that's something they could consider.
Answer would be yes.
I think that needs to be a part of it, because it's been there for, 25 years now, or whenever Kohlers, maybe not that long, 15 years. But if we go through with this project without addressing that tunnel, we might as well just fill it up with dirt, because it's never going to get used. But that's sort of to Councilmember Rizzo's point of making sure that we're designing these things for pedestrian traffic as well over time.
You don't mind if I make just Leon, do you mind? Steve Wadaki, American StructurePoint. I'll be the project manager for the project. The big issue for that is going to be, Benner, and it's going to depend on which side of the intersection that it's on. If it's on the west side,
it will be.
You've got, particularly it's going to be utilities in the area, and it's going to be the issue of how far north it may push the roundabout. You've got the ISD and the city's parcels on the north side, so that's a benefit there. But then from there on the southwest corner, it would be the approach ramps to get down to that level. And then secondly, how do you drain it? And then when you come out on the other side, the ramping to come back up to the surface. Those are the issues that you'll deal with. But yes, we'll look at that.
I'm hoping when they put it in that they were thinking about some of those things as well. And so there's some kind of plan for how that would come about.
Likely drainage-wise, outfall, I'm not sure where it exactly goes, but there's a possibility it may require a pump station. And if you do that, that's going to get expensive, and it's dollars. I mean, as engineers, we can design just about anything. The issue is cost.
Right.
So, yes,
So could you come back with, at least at some point, some options for us? I don't want it to be
Absolutely.
overlooked, and then we find out we're down the road, and this is something that everybody would have liked to have at least considered.
Right.
We'd like to be able to consider what we would have to do to
absolutely.
make that underpass happen.
I mean, as an example, on Beebe, we looked at the far east end where the PEC transmission line is, the ramping to go up and down to get under the road and what the impacts were. So it'd be a very similar analysis. Okay.
Okay. It's a good discussion. Anything else before we take a vote?
Can we, I guess, get photos or some drawings of the tunnel, just so all council has seen it? I mean, I only know about it. It's not like I physically have ever seen the tunnel.
I'm going off memory, Councilman. I think there's 5 under there in that area, either 4 or 5 tunnels. Some of them are on 1626, and I think there's one on Kohlers. And we recently uncovered them, and actually some of our staff went inside the tunnels to check them out. So we have some pictures already of those tunnels and locations marked out. We can get that to you.
Were they intended for pedestrians or intended for plumbing?
Pedestrians.
When they built Kohlers Crossing, they sleeved it for a future pedestrian tunnel. That's what it's designed for.
They're big box culverts is what they are.
But there are some issues with, they've put sidewalks and some of the utility lines are in places where they,
Yes.
but I'd like to at least see what could we do.
Leon, could we set up a time to go look at them? Just for our own curiosity?
Individually, we could certainly do that. If you wanted to have the whole board go out at a board meeting, we could do that as well.
That'd be a fun
Individually,
photo. We all get down in the tunnel and do a selfie bus.
We'd love to take you out and show you some tunnels. We'll do that, absolutely.
Love to see some tunnels.
We'll do it.
You may be disappointed. They're just big box culverts.
Well, I know. I just think it's cool that there's tunnels and they're blocked off and they could be usable. I'd just be interested to see exactly where they are and what the access would look like from the south side, or I guess from either side, but there's a lot more people who live on the south side of Kohlers.
We'll work on that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, we do have a motion and a second. If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Next is discussion regarding scheduling of next meeting. Do we have dates or a date?
We don't have one currently.
Okay, so I guess you'll just send that
Get back
out?
to you
or-
when we're ready.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sounds good. No need to go into executive session. Okay, and I guess there's a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Okay, well, I guess let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you all so much. Meeting's adjourned.